Hi, welcome back to Creative Faith with Makenna. I'm Makenna if you didn't know, and today I'm going to be talking about college. Some of the biggest changes from high school to college that I've noticed so far in my first month of college. So number one, the most interesting thing is that the teachers in college go by their first name. So like Chris or Amelia. It's like you're all adults, and so like it's not like Mrs. whatever or Mr. Smith. It's like whatever their first name is. It's like they're your friend, but they're your teacher. Like it's kind of weird actually. Like it's so different from high school. It's like high school, they're your parents and like they're adults and you're just children. But in college, it's like, you're my friend, call me by my first name, So it's just kind of interesting like that. It really depends on your program, but the second biggest thing I would say is that at the beginning, you're not gonna have a lot of homework, or at least not in my classes. The homework I get is not usually homework I do in the common areas of the college. Like it's just not like laptop work or anything like that. It's more like artsy stuff, which makes sense because I am doing a graphic design program, but it's just weird. Like I thought I'd spend more time in the common areas, but I haven't yet. So it's just kind of interesting. It's not a difference between high school and college, but it's just something I've noticed about college. Another big thing about high school to college is that teachers are not going to care about you. And I mean this in the best possible way. They are not going to track you down to get your work, because it's a lot easier for them to not have to mark an assignment than to have to mark an assignment. So if you don't hand in your assignment, or if you don't let them know that some problems in your life and you're going to be handing it in late, then they're just going to give you 0, because that's so easy for them to do versus having to look at your work and mark it. So they're not going to be chasing you down. So you really need to manage your time. They don't really care whether you get your work in or not. Of course, they want you to get your work in on time. They're not chasing you down if you don't, which is different from high school. College is a lot more independent than high school, I feel, because sure, your teachers might take attendance, but they aren't saying, oh, Makenna's not here. Why is she not here? We have to call her parents. No, there's nothing like that. They're just like, oh, Makenna's not here. She just didn't come to class today. Okay, whatever, she's just not here. Like, it's not like a huge big deal about finding out where you are and why you're not in class. It's just that you're not there, and that's just a fact. Like, no one's really looking for you if you're not there. They might take attendance, but like I said, they're not really concerned about where you are and why you're not in class. So that's kind of like a nice thing with college. It's a lot more independent. Also, with my experience with college, all of the teachers in my program seem to be very friendly, very approachable, even entertaining, I would say. Like they just make the classes entertaining. They're very passionate about what they are here to teach. And I feel like some teachers in high school are just not. They just became a teacher and started to teach a subject because they didn't know what else to do. But all the teachers in my program seem to be very passionate and understanding, and they love what they're teaching. And so it makes the class more fun and interesting. So that's also something that might be different from high school to college. In high school, you're basically all the same age. Sure, you might take a class a year ahead or a year behind, but you're basically all the same age. And in college, that's not the case. Like you can have like a 30-year-old or like a 50-year-old in your program, and that's fine. It's just different, right? So you're gonna have people that are fresh out of high school, people that waited a few years, maybe took a gap year, and people that haven't been to school in like 10 years. So it's just kind of interesting like that. So there's going to be a lot of variety, a lot of different people, and it's just, you're going to want to make friends. Depending on your schedule, if you're living on campus, my experience with my first week was that I was very bored and lonely because living in a house with a bunch of different girls, and they're all really, really nice, it's just different than living at home, because you know your family, and it's like it's very busy at home and you know everything that's happening. But in a house with 6 other girls, that's my experience, everyone's in their own worlds, and you don't really like pry into each other's worlds. You don't really bother someone if they're in their room and their door's closed. Like, it's just different. It might be a little bit lonely if you're living on campus in your first week, because it's a lot of introduction classes, and I was very lonely. I did a lot of FaceTiming with my mom, and I'm not ashamed to say that because I did miss her. So yeah, so it's just, be prepared, it might be lonely. But that does get better as you get homework and things to do. So, and friends, right? Friends always help. Another great thing about college is that it kind of goes along with the independence thing, is that they're like, you have to go to the bathroom, just leave. Like there's no asking to go to the bathroom. Like, you're adults, you can just leave. You can not come to class if you don't want to. I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, you're paying to do this course, right? This program. So why would you not come to class? But yeah, like, you can leave the class without them having to know where you are. Like, it's just kind of, there's more freedom, there's more independence. It's a lot nicer than high school, actually. There's not very many rules. They're just kind of, we're all adults. Another big change is that in college, you're probably going to have a cafeteria or a food court. And I was not used to being around fast food places like every day. Like you go to school and they're in the building that you are in. So you kind of have to have self-control. Of course, it costs money, so that kind of helps stop you from getting it every day. But you kind of, it's different. Like high school, it's just classes and teachers, and there's probably a cafeteria, but there's not much great food. But in college, there's an actual food court. The college has Subway. There's a little like market grill thing incorporated. It's like college owned. And then there's like a pizza and a Tim Hortons and stuff like that. So it's just kind of in your face. Going along with that last point is that you get breaks in college, at least in my classes, because all my classes are 3 hours long this term, except for English, which is 2 hours. And in high school, they don't give you breaks because my high school classes were 75 minutes. But in college, that like within an hour and a half of the class, the teacher's like, okay, let's take a break. Let's take a like 10-20 minute break. Go get some coffee. Go get a good donut, something to eat. Take a walk. And every day they say that, and it's very hard to say, oh, I'm not going to go do that, because, like I said, the food court is in the building. And when someone puts the idea in your head to go get coffee, go get food, go get a donut, something sweet, you want to do it. And some of my days have 2 classes, and each class, so I'm getting told twice a day to go and get something from the food court. So you really, really, really need some self-control. But it is interesting how in college they do give you breaks, like lengthy breaks, because the classes are longer. So I'd say that those are some of the biggest changes I've noticed in my first month of college. Yeah, it's just kind of interesting, the differences between high school and college. And the biggest thing would be the independence and the fact that no one's looking for you. No one cares about you, and I'm saying this in the best way possible. No one really cares about you, and it's all on you to figure out your time management, what you're doing, whether you're going to classes. And it's kind of nice to be independent. These are all the things I noticed, all the changes I noticed in my first month of college. So let me know if there's any things that surprised you when you were in college, things that are different than high school. And I will see you next time, hopefully sooner than my last videos, because I've been very busy at college. So these videos for my YouTube channel are kind of be few and far between, but I still want to make sure that you're still following along, because they are still going to happen. So have a lovely day, and I will see you next time. Bye.